What's up, people? How you guys doing, man? It's Renal Khalif, and yes, I am chilling on my bed, making this YouTube video, which is great. So, what I want to talk about is the Battleground pay-per-view that did indeed happen this past Sunday, and it's been 2 days late since I made the video, and I'll come on my Monday Night Raw review sometime in the future. So, what I want to talk about is the first match, because I don't think anybody saw the opening, which was Adam Rose versus Fandango. Adam Rose picked up the win. I didn't see Cameron Naomi, but I'm thinking Cameron pulled an upset win, but who knows? First match that happened was the Usos versus the Wyatt family. I felt like as if the match seemed kind of, I don't know, the first two falls seemed kind of rushed, but Luke Harper's boot seemed more like a legit pin than the Usos' fall in the second fight of the 2 out of 3 falls. So apparently, I felt like as if it looked kind of forced, but at the same time, the third fall kind of was what they were building up for, which was great. I felt like it was great the fact that they did build up the intensity and all this liveliness, and the fact that we had near falls, which really sold the suspense of this match. So I think the match was solely greatly amazing, and I loved it. So I thought it was great. So give the match 8.5 stars out of 10. I thought that was great. First two falls seemed rushed, but it did build up to the third fall, which I did love. So I thought that was solely great. Next match we have was was supposed to be Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, but it turned into a backstage brawl. So unfortunately, that match did not even happen when Triple H threw Dean Ambrose out of the building. So the match we did have was Paige versus AJ Lee. What an incredible upset win from AJ Lee with the Shining Wizard. I think this was one of the best Diva matches aside from Naomi and Paige, and the fact that with Paige having all these intense matches that is in complete existence, I think that is what is going to steal the show, which is completely awesome. So I feel like as if this was a smart move for AJ to pick up the win, which I thought it was great for AJ to pull that Shining Wizard to get Paige the victory, and the fact that we had the near falls and the near submissions. I think the match was great, and they put so much intensity into Divas, and that's what it's about. If you put effort and and get the crowd into it, I think it will sell so well. So I thought the match was great. So we gotta say to that AJ and Paige, I thought it was extremely phenomenal. So I did love it. So I enjoyed it, and then yeah, so AJ continues to her title reign, and I'm waiting for the moment when Paige finally gets her title back. So hopefully it does happen sometime in the future. Next match we have was Rusev versus Lana. It's the next match I want to talk about. I don't know if that was the exact next match, but indeed, Rusev picks up the win by countout, which was great. I thought this was a good win because it proves that it's not officially over with Swagger and Rusev, because Rusev didn't win by submission despite the fact that he still nailed the submission hold nonetheless, and Swagger gets hugely knocked out and did put the Patriot lock. So Rusev and Swagger both did look strong in the match, so I'm glad he didn't go down, because honestly, I feel like who the heck is Rusev going to feud with next after Swagger, and I feel like whoever he feuds with is completely irrelevant, so I won't be interested in seeing who he feuds with next unless it does something to blow my mind, and it shouldn't take John Cena for that to blow me away, because that wouldn't blow me away either. So yeah, it was that was phenomenal. Paige and AJ Lee, I give that 8 stars out of 10. That was a B match. I thought the match was great, but I wouldn't say it was completely perfect, but it still meets some great expectations. So yeah, I thought that was great. And then Rusev versus Swagger, 9 stars out of 10. The crowd was really brought everybody into it, and then Swagger got so much build up from the crowd and the We the People. Hopefully, I don't know what's gonna go with next, but hopefully he doesn't go back to being a heel. So that's what I gotta say to that. So I thought it was a phenomenon, and then the fact that Rusev did put up a 10 countout win, so hopefully nobody came as a loser, but Rusev did win by countout, so that's what I gotta say to that. Next match we had was what is it? I forgot what the next match was. Oh, Chris Jericho versus Bray Wyatt. How did I forget about that? So we had Chris Jericho versus Bray Wyatt, and I gotta say, it was a good match. I was completely surprised Chris Jericho actually won. I honestly didn't think Chris Jericho was gonna pull up the victory, believe it or not, because let's just go ahead and just be straight up here. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and just say something that you're not gonna believe, but I didn't think he was gonna win. He wasn't gonna win at all, and it was a huge surprise. Bray Wyatt won, so I don't know where it falls from there. But Bray Wyatt still continuing to look strong, and to just briefly reference what happened on Monday Night Raw, Bray Wyatt still did look strong and didn't go down easily. So Chris Jericho did pick up the win. I think this is great build up for him. So I don't know. I don't know if the wins aren't really affecting him as much as the losses are, but it's a good win for Chris Jericho. So that way it doesn't like he just loses matches and still doesn't take too much effect on him. So that's one thing I could say to that apparently. So I gotta say the match was good. The match had so much aggression dished in there. So yeah, and it did have some fair pace and some really good storytelling. I gotta say as well. So give the match 7.5 stars out of 10. It was a good average match, and I did like it a bit. So I wouldn't say I loved it, but I did like it. So that's what I gotta say to that. So it was pretty smooth. Next match that we did had, which indeed did happen. I forgot the next match that. Oh yeah, the Intercontinental Battle Royale. The Battle Royale. Oh my gosh, man! The Battle Royale was completely insane. It did. Quite frankly, it did took a weird turn to that. So that's what I gotta say to that. I did enjoy the Battle Royale quite a bit. The Battle Royale was really good. It was a little bit sloppy, but the thing I didn't like is that the fact that Heath Slater eliminated Cesaro really, just because Cesaro's no longer Paul Heyman guy is gonna go down the hill. I can't see that happening. He was starting to grow on me with the Real Americans and then jump into Paul Heyman. That ain't gonna happen too soon yet. So that's what I gotta say to that. So hopefully it didn't really affect him as much, but hopefully that's what I gotta say to that. But one thing I did say that I was hoping Ziggler won and became the Intercontinental Champion, but once the Miz got thrown the second rope, I knew he was still in this match. I could just sense that he was still in this match. Like, believe it or not, I saw that from a mile away that Miz was gonna throw Ziggler out. But one thing I wish they did knew that Ziggler was still in this match and they threw him out. But they were completely oblivious to that. They were very naive that the Miz was still in this match because apparently neither of them were gonna win if that was this whole situation. So if that was the case, that you didn't really know apparently. So it's one thing to say to that. So yeah, that's one thing to say. And apparently, yeah. Next thing to indeed did happen was yeah. So apparently the Miz did pick up the win with his Moneymaker face, which is still hilarious to this day. The Moneymaker face, and with him winning the Intercontinental Championship match, I feel like there's so much momentum on leeway into the whole Battleground thing. So I could say to that I feel like the Miz is gonna build some character. He does have a character now, especially even though he's a heel again, and now he's gonna push and build up. And he didn't really get much build up to his face, but the fact that he has character now, and he has the Moneymaker face, I think it's gonna be a little interesting. So I can't wait to see what goes on from there. So I'm intrigued about that. So yeah, I can't wait for that. And the match was fairly good. The Final Four was great, but the Miz, the fact that he was still there, it did sold me well. So that's one thing I could say to that. And then hopefully Ziggler does get some momentum from the match that indeed did happen. So that's what I could say to that. Finally, the main event: John Cena, Roman Reigns, Kane, and Orton in a fatal four-way match. And that match did tore the house down. Uh, some great aggression and great storytelling, whether they were associates or whatnot, and Kane helping Orton. I thought that was great, and the fact they were still associated. And then on another side, Cena and Reigns didn't really have much to do with each other, so it felt kind of weird. Because apparently Cena and Reigns did team up at times where they just fended off Orton and Kane. And there were some moments where they were supposed to fight each other, and then Kane and Orton fighting each other. So it did have some association in every man for himself type of storytelling in there. So I could say to that is that it did sold me well. Like, I did enjoy that part of the match, and the fact that how Cena finished the match was hugely interesting as well. And the fact that with the backstage segments, I thought, it did play off of what happened backstage and how whether they were going to associate with each other or not, or are you on your own. So that it captured me from there, and the fact that the match itself was really fantastic, even though it went completely odd in places and stuff. So I could say that I enjoyed it. It was very good. The main event was really good. I'm not gonna say it was great or awesome, but it was really great. Actually, I should say it was great. I don't know why I'm not gonna say I'm gonna say it's not, but it was great. So John Cena is still champion. I'm glad he didn't have a short reign. So hopefully there's more to come. Hopefully he does face Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, which I know Brock Lesnar is supposed to return. But I'm still mad we're not getting a Brock Lesnar or Daniel Bryan, because if Daniel Bryan was to overcome Kane, sorry, Stephanie and Triple H could brought out Brock Lesnar, and that would be completely legit. So that's one thing I could say to that. So I could say thank you. I could say that's gonna be that's gonna be a good Battleground pay per view. The pay per view was great. I enjoyed it, and it was really interesting. The card was great. It had my expectations fairly well, and I gotta say it was better than the 2013 Battleground in October, and I felt like they kind of did undo the damage there. So that's what I'm gonna leave with that, and hopefully you guys enjoyed my review. And I am Renal Calix, the Red Dog Extreme, and I will see you on the flip. Peace out. Enjoy my video.